Hello, my name is Andres Baeza and this is the work called Analysis of a Web Page. And as we can see, it is the British Council what I have analyzed. So we can see in the index we have some points we will treat. First one is the page, the web page. I will present it. Then for who and how it is done. It is touch. The objectives then, and the structure, the linguistic and sociocultural approach, things like sequencing of the activities in this page, the content, methodologies and approaches, recommendations, and then the bibliography. At the beginning we will treat the web page information, where we can find, as I have told you, the name of the web is completely British Council. Learn English, and I let here the URL if you want to go there to access it to them there, and then the authors. In this case there's no just one person, is the United Kingdom's International Organization for Cultural Relations and Educational Opportunities. So this is something that the government of the British Island has prepared for all those that want to learn English by their own. And as I put here some relevant information we can highlight before starting explaining everything, before starting the analysis, could be that there are free materials, materials you don't need to pay, and elaborated courses that you have to pay. This website has been designed for adults by the British Council with English educational experts that from all around the world. It is created with the main aim of learning English by your own through the use of e-programs to connect people using new technologies. Maybe it could be used with teenagers with a high level of English, the language, but definitely it is not for children. Each section of the web, the students know exactly how they are learning and what they are learning. You can be, for example, practicing the 4 language skills or learning the new vocabulary they want, and it is always clear what they are doing. They know exactly what they are practicing. And this is thanks to the well-organized the web pages and the clarity of its utterances. There are a lot of resources that help the learners to get the objectives we will present after it, and it is good to have different ways to get a higher level. It is, in this case, there are a lot of paths driving the students to its maximum potential, referring to the language level, using their interests and motivations. How can they do it? So deciding how they learn, because they can practice what they want in each moment and how they do so. We can see here we have several objectives that we know when we face the analysis of this page. There are some that I have highlighted to improve the students' English level. This is something basic because we want to teach English. To facilitate different level students to achieve their next level into the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. To improve the 4 main language skills, which are listening, speaking, reading and writing. To be able to communicate or interact in English in different levels of use. To reinforce their background and vocabulary knowledge, and to communicate effectively in a professional level. As we can see, there are a lot of sections that are divided depending on the purpose of the user, to learn written comprehension, new vocabulary, or whatever. All these sections are links that opens a new tab. It is worked the linguistic aspect of the language. There is not a lack of sociocultural ones. There are specific courses for different purposes. The page gives the opportunity to learn academic English, and you can learn English for business as well. It is not complicated to find sections entirely dedicated to the knowledge of the integration of sociocultural aspects. One of the most relevant cultural sections in this webpage is the one called Shakespeare. Here you can find the videos which show the modern relevance of Shakespeare and where you can find his most famous characters and plays, as well as about Shakespeare himself. Another section related with socioculture is Britain is Great. This is his name, where you can see different videos about British life and culture, including its history. There are different possibilities to have a teacher-student relationship here. You can pay for a subscription that opens the possibility to do a face-to-face webcam class with a personal teacher, and between other offers, as we can see in this box. It is not the only way to keep in touch with a teacher. There is a kind of campus, a virtual campus, where you can send messages, quirks, essays, or whatever, and the teachers can take them, correct them, and send you it again, or even they can do it with you at the time. There is a good sequencing of activities in each section. In the following video, I show the way each activity is presented and how they are carried out. As we are focusing our attention in the written practice, I decided to show an example of a written activity. But it is important to highlight that there are a lot of different activities prepared for practicing the other three skills. In one hand, focusing our attention in the writing skill, we can find out the structure of each reading activity. The structure of each written activity. It always begins with a stage called preparation, which is a warm activity that prepares for the following reading. Secondly, the reading text, which is clearly divided into the different parts of a text: introduction, background, current problems, proposed solution, drawbacks, conclusions. It is done to introduce how to write by your own one of them. It continues showing some tips to improve our reading abilities, and then it begins the 3 tasks with 10, which are the writing activities. In the other hand, focusing our attention in the reading skills, it is the same structure than in the written one, but with 3 reading tasks at the end. As we can see in this web page, we have some appendixes where we find some different purposes. One of them is the appendix called Help, where you can get some information about how to start in this web page and how to work with it. Some English level tests where you can test your own what level you have and where to begin. House rules, frequency asked questions, some links that are useful for you as a user, as a beginner. Another one is for courses, another one for tips. This tips section is in each activity, as I showed before. And finally, the possibility to go to their social media accounts and share some information or whatever you want. The way it has to present the whole content is very attractive to those who are not interested in following the classic sequence of content, and it fosters its autonomy. There are ways to follow a sequence with the courses proposed. It is done to involve the wide range of students, giving the maximum possibilities to increase their English level. It facilitates really materials for better learning. The easier example you can find of it is in the section General English, called General English, where you can find videos, audios, magazines and podcasts, between other kind of real material. It is very useful to learn while practice real English. If we have to highlight the different approaches and methodologies that are used during these courses, these web courses, I would focus my attention in the interactive or participative method, due to the importance that it's given to the interaction during the classes or the courses. The learn-centered method, because of its concern about the student's development and the communicative approach. I think there are opportunities in this web where you can improve your communicative skills, and it is thanks to some of its sections. There is one section who promotes the interaction face-to-face with other learners, as you can see in this photo. It only needs to know in what country you live, and you can see what options are available. Moreover, there is a section where you can communicate through letters with different learners all around the world with the same level of English or of language you have. This kind of activities promotes the interaction between people, learning through communication, through a real use of the language. In other words, it gives meaning to the fact of studying a foreign language. I want to highlight some recommendations, because I highly recommend this page to improve your level of English because of its well-structured amount of resources, the opportunities it offers, and the different ways it proposes to develop your 4 linguistic skills through personalized courses for your own, however you want, you can learn, but you have the resources there. As a teacher, I think this is a very good resource tool because of the reasons I have commented before, and because of the accessible it is via internet to teach English. Nowadays, the e-learning is a very important and innovative source into the language teaching world, and because of its capacity to arrive to all parts of the world and all kind of people. And finally, I think this is a very good source because of the real communication that this is carried out in all its activities and through all the courses that are presented here. And that's the end of this presentation. I hope you enjoy everything I have told you and you have learned something that is important. Thank you very much and see you soon.